Hello, Seekers. Thank you for joining me today for episode 4 of our Elven Lord solo playthrough of the Overhill and Underhill starter set. Where we left off last time, Fimberthiel had just survived a harrowing encounter with the Hackmog, the Orc Chief, and 3 Goblin Archers and a Wolf. And we decided to scale that encounter as if that Fimberthiel was equal to 3 people, which meant that we had 3 goblins, 3 goblin archers, and it ended up being a very, very tough fight. And in addition to some heavy blows from Hackmog and the Wolf, the goblins also hit some heavy blows on us. And we were lucky to make a lot of protection rolls, but we still did take a wound. And there was also a few things in that fight that, a few rules issues that I identified later, a couple things that I forgot, and then also one rule that I needed to clarify in the core rulebook. So I have made a note of those things in a pinned comment on the episode 3, and I think that's how I'm going to proceed from now on. I'll make a pinned comment on the episode and give you notes about what things might have been forgotten or mistaken in the rules, or if I'm changing something as well. So I think I'll do that instead of spending the first 5 minutes or so of every video just kind of going over rule stuff, because I think it kind of kills the flow a little bit. So please check that pinned comment on episode 3, which should be up by now. And then if there's anything with this episode, I'll have a pinned comment on this episode as well. So all right, so moving on. We do have a wound right now, and we are down to 9 points of endurance here, which I haven't noted on the character sheet yet, because I think we're going to try to do some healing here. And so what I've seen from the moderate injury that we received, this can go away naturally within just a few hours of kind of like resting or not engaging in strenuous things. But also you can do a healing roll as well, which can also make the wound go away. And it says that wounded adventurers, if they are conscious, they can attempt to heal themselves. But then we also have over here a short rest. So if we rest for 1 hour, we can have up to 1 short rest per day. And we can rest for 1 hour, and we can recover endurance points equal to our strength rating, which our strength rating is 5. So that would give us 5 points of endurance covered. But it doesn't say that... it doesn't say that you can do that if you are, or it doesn't say that you can recover from a wound and heal both at the same time. So I think in order to make it kind of fair and not too overpowered, we're going to try to do a healing roll. And if we can pass the healing roll, that will take away our wound. And then we can do the short rest, because it says that wounded adventurers don't recover any points at all. So we'll see if we can do the healing roll, then we'll do the short rest and recover 5 points. And then later on when we sleep for the night, there's more things that can happen at that point. But we will be set back a little bit if we don't make this healing roll. And this is going to be kind of interesting because we don't have any points in healing actually. We only have 1 point in healing. But we do have our wondrous item, which are super comfy boots that gives us a stealth and healing bonus. And due to being a wondrous item, that gives us plus 2 dice, so plus 2 of the success dice. So that would give us a total of 3. So I think we've got a fair chance of passing this, and our target number is going to be 14. So let's see if we can pass this healing roll here. And it looks like we've got 11, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so we did pass it, and we did get 1 tongue war as well. I don't see anything here necessarily about using a tongue war for that. But yeah, so we can say that we have certainly recovered from our wounds, so we are no longer wounded. So we're going to go ahead and erase that. And then we can now rest for 1 hour. So after surviving this difficult fight, Fimberthiel attends to herself and kind of does some magical healing thanks to her boots, there, and she is now going to find a safe place off the side of the battlefield and take a rest for 1 hour, and so she'll be able to recover 5 points of endurance, which is equal to her strength. So we'll go ahead and erase 5 points here, and that's going to bring her up to so she's going to have 11 points of damage, so it's going to bring her down to 14. So her current endurance right now is 14, which she also has 1 travel fatigue from our first leg of our journey, and then she has 12 on the load, so she has a total of 13 load because fatigue adds to your load. And luckily her current endurance is 14. If her endurance was 13 or lower, or I believe maybe if it was lower than 13, then she would be weary right now. And what weariness does is that you 1s, 2s, and 3s would be would count as a 0. So actually this 2 that we rolled here would count as a 0, but that would still give us a 15, which would still beat our target score of 14 right here for healing. So yeah, actually we should have factored that in, which yeah, we would still beat that roll right there, because technically she was weary before this this bout of healing. All right, so we still have a lot more healing to do, and hopefully we can recover some hit points during the night. And now Finbithril is the day is getting late, and she's certainly looking for a place where she can rest after this rather savage fight. And so let's consult our adventure here and see what we got. We've been following these tracks to the east, and of course, after the slaying of Hackmog, the wolf and the 3 goblins all ran away, and it looks like their tracks are also leading to the east. So we're gonna keep going to the east, and we have now reached the ruins of Crann. And emerging from the woods, you first catch sight of what appears to be an unusual thicket, its dense growth seeming unnatural. However, upon closer inspection, it becomes evident that it's actually a palisade made of tightly packed tree trunks, their branches largely but not completely hacked off. There's no immediate visible opening in the fence. The silence is striking, no barking dogs, no bleating sheep, and no smoke rising from chimneys to greet you. So it looks like all is not well here in these ruins, and so we can see the ruins here. Lots of these huts have been destroyed and probably burned out, and the communal hall in the center does appear to still be standing, but definitely not a nice sight to see. And it looks like a deadly aftermath of a brutal attack. And there was clear evidence of a fierce struggle, and there are few bodies left behind, but those that are have been half devoured by wargs, now serving a grisly offering for the crows. So there is this horrible smell wafting around of these dead bodies and the crows picking on them. And amidst the wreckage, we can see the communal hall still standing, and it says that the largest structure of the village is a circular building spanning a dozen paces across and standing half as tall. It likely served as the main gathering place for the people of Crann, and its thatched roof is supported by a large carved wooden beams. There are surfaces adorned with symbols from times long past. The hall's door lies shattered, and the sparse furniture has been demolished, evidence of a violent skirmish still visible. The only intact fixture is a large stone fireplace, cold and dark but untouched by the destruction. So we do still have a fireplace there, and it says that this could provide us a safe enough shelter to rest for the night. So Finbithril comes into the communal hall, and she sees that there might be a place suitable for a rest in front of the large fireplace there. And it does say that Concealed among the rafters, there is half a dozen children of the hill folk. So some of the children were able to escape this brutal attack on the village by the wargs and the goblins. There is a 9-year-old survivor there named Kuvrog, and he also has his 5 younger siblings, and they are silently observing Fimberthrill as she comes into the hall here. And of course the children are terrified, and we might be able to notice their presence. Let's see if maybe we need to perform a skill roll here to notice them. I'm not seeing anything, but it does say that if we cook some food, the children are going to be unable to contain their hunger. So I think it's quite likely that Fimberthrill would make a fire, and she would probably cook some kind of simple meal. So it says that Kuvrog, though he is only 9 summers old, is considered nearly a man by the standards of the hillfolk, and he has been protecting his younger siblings since their parents sickened and died when an ill wind came from the north 2 years prior. They often hid in the rafters of the communal hall to play, and this time their game saved their lives. The night of the attack, Kuvrog overheard a goblin muttering nervously, "They will appease her ever hungry maws. I won't be her next meal." So possibly alluding there to the this warg queen, and Kuvrog is suspicious and fierce. So I guess we will. I'm not seeing anything about a skill roll, and I think it's quite expected that Fimberthrill would cook a meal and enjoy the warmth of the fire. So I think that will attract the attention of the children. And in order to gain their trust and find out what happened in the village, we're going to have to coax them from their hiding spot and earn their confidence with the right approach. And we can play this out with the rules for councils. And we do have a abbreviated form of the rules here in the small rulebook that comes with the adventure. So let's see what it says here about councils. It says to achieve the goal in a council, the company must achieve a number of successful skill rolls matching its resistance value. To accomplish this, the player heroes have a limited number of attempts at their disposal, which would also be the time limit. So the way that we set up a council is we set the resistance, and before the council begins, the players should all agree on what the company hopes to achieve from the meeting. The resistance rating of a council reflects how hard it will be for the company to achieve their stated goal, and it is set by the lore master at a value of 3, a reasonable request, or 6, a bold request, or 9, an outrageous request. At the beginning of the council, we present ourselves and we select a spokesperson, which is definitely going to be Fimberthrill because she's the only one we have. And we're going to have to make a skill roll for awe, courtesy, or riddle. And let's look at our skills for that. We have an awe of 2, we have 0 in courtesy, and we have a 0 in riddle, but riddle is favored. So should we go with riddle or should we go with awe? It's kind of a tough question there. But it looks like, generally speaking, our skill to parlay is not particularly good. And so this roll determines the total number of attempts that the player heroes are granted as a group to present their case before they are dismissed. If the roll is a failure, the time limit is equal to 3, and if the roll is a success, the time limit is equal to 4 plus 1 for each tongue roar that is rolled. And okay, so I think we're going to want to set our council to the lowest level, which is going to be the reasonable request. So we would ask them to recount the village attack from their perch on the beams, and that would be a reasonable request with a resistance score of 3. So, and it says that we can also make a courtesy skill roll. Do we have courtesy? So once again, our courtesy roll is also very low, and our chance of success is going to be pretty bad, I think. The children's deep-rooted suspicion of outsiders requires the interaction to be handled with care, and Hearten is a good choice to lead the conversation, as is Persuade. The children are especially reluctant to speak if approached by an elf or a ranger whom they find intimidating. Oh, great! So we're going to be having an even worse chance here. we're going to lose 1d on skill rolls. And if we were a hobbit, then we would actually gain 1 dice. So, all right, so we got a pretty bad chance here. So I think first we need to roll for either awe or courtesy or riddle to see what our time limit is going to be in determining our number of attempts. Okay, so I think we'll go ahead and roll with awe because that gives us the largest amount of dice that we can roll here. So we got 10, I think we got 17. Yeah, so that's actually not too bad. And that will pass the target number of 13. And so that's going to give us, I believe, four attempts here. And yeah, so we got 4 attempts. We also got a tongue war, so we're going to get 5 attempts. And let's see how that works. So during the stage, the players engage with the playing out the scene. They make a number of skill rolls to accumulate successes to match or exceed the resistance rating of the council. And we're going to modify the rolls depending on the attitude of the audience. So we lose 1d in all these rolls. So we can choose Enhearten, Insight, Persuade, Riddle, or Song. And down here they're saying Enhearten or Persuade. So I don't know if we have to choose one of those only. Our Enhearten is 1, or Persuade is 0. Song we have 2. Maybe we can sing an enchanting elven song that will soothe and calm the children. I think that seems like the best choice here of what we can do. And I don't really know if the adventure here is saying that we can only use Enhearten or Persuade, but I think we're going to go with Song. We also have the option of Insight, which is also, we have no skill in Insight. And then we also have the option of Riddle, which is going to be a little bit lower than Song, even though it is favorite. So I think we'll go with Song here, but we do lose 1 dice though. So maybe we are better off going with Riddle. Yeah, let's go ahead and go with Riddle because that's going to give us basically 2 d12s. So we have, I think we have 5 attempts, do we not? I think we have 5 attempts here because we were successful and we got a tongue war. Yeah, so we have 5 attempts. So we have 5 attempts to beat the resistance score of 3. So we need to get 3 successes out of 5. So 3 out of 5. And that looks like it's going to be a success there. That's 13. Is that a success? Yeah. So we met our score there. So that's 1 success. And then we got, we got 14. So that's 2 successes. Oh, you know what? Actually, I'm rolling this wrong because we can only take the highest number. So because, let's see, what are we rolling here? Yeah. So that's actually not going to work. So we're going to have to roll. We're going to have to roll Song. That's our only choice, and we do need to subtract 1 die. So let's start over from the beginning here. And oh, we got a Gandalf rune, so that's going to be an instant success. Okay, so we have 1 success out of 3 that we need, and that's 8. So that's not going to make it. And that looks like it's going to be too low as well. It's only 11. And that's also going to be too low. Looks like we've only got, I think we're already mathematically failed here. Yeah, so we did not make that. Yeah, pretty tough, especially because overall our kind of like social skills are not so good with Fimbulthillia, although her lore skill is very good, but we couldn't use lore. Maybe if we had Song as favor, that would have given us a better chance here to calm the children. So we did not succeed, and the children are they're not going to come down. They are, I think, the fact that we are an elf too is really working against us here. So, but you know, Fimbulthillia, obviously she does care about the children, and she's going to leave food for them and make sure that the fire is nice and warm so that the children are okay over the night, even though they refuse to speak with us. So let's see what it says if we are unsuccessful. It looks like So there's kind of a bit of text here that we're not going to get, and yeah, and we'll have no interaction with the children. All right, so let's see what we are able to heal during the night, because we still have some healing that we definitely need to do here. And let's consult our quick guide here again. And it says that after a night's sleep, adventurers recover all lost endurance points, or a number of endurance points equal to their strength score if they are wounded. So we're not wounded anymore. If we are at 0 hope, then we can regain a single point. Remove fatigue only if resting at a safe location. Okay, so I believe at least for this night we're in a safe location, and we have had one full night's sleep, so we can recover all the lost endurance. So we're going to be back to 25 endurance, and that's a pretty generous healing rule, to be honest. I was expecting, maybe you can recover half of your endurance, or you can recover points equal to half. But all right, so we are back to full endurance, and I think that's certainly going to be very important going forward, as we're likely to face numerous challenges still as we continue to track these wargs and goblins. So, all right, that all went fairly well, except for, of course, the children didn't talk with us. So it's now the next morning, and we're going to set forth on our journey, and we need to follow these tracks. And it says that the tracks left by the attackers are unmistakable. They're etched into the earth around Crann like scars. Even a cursory inspection reveals a sign of a large group of individuals, a mix of goblins, men, and clawed prints of a large warg pack, all traveling east. So Fimberthil sees these tracks all around, and the direction of the trail sends an icy dread through the company as it leads deep into the lone lands of Rudar, a dark, accursed kingdom home to evil spirits and wild men. So we are now on to part 3, Iron Jaws. And following the path marked by the tracks of both the captors and the captives, the company ventures deep into the desolate wild lands of Rudar. And we must choose our role, so we're not going to do that because we are the Strider. And it's going to lead straight east for about 4 hexes through the open terrain in the wild lands. Okay, so for the sake of charting our journey here, we're going to count 4 hexes to the east. So we're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be our destination over there. And we need to make a marching test here. So we're going to test our travel skill, which is 2. So let's make a marching test for the day as we set out to track where these are going. And looks like we got a 12, which is not going to be good enough. So we will fail that, which means that we're only going to be moving 1 hex. So we're going to move 1 hex down to here. And you know what? Actually, we are in this kind of wildland, and I think that's actually going to decrease. I think we would actually be. Are we ill-favored on that? Let's see. Okay, so it's unmodified in the wildlands, so it would have been favored if we were in the borderlands. So, but anyway, we still fail, and we're going to move 1 hex over, which will also be a wildlands hex, and we will also not have any modifier to our travel roll there, positive or negative. And now we are going to have a travel event here. So we'll roll on the travel events and see what happens there. And all right, let's roll a feat die on the journey event table. And oh, we got the Eye of Mordor, or the Eye of Sauron. That's terrible. And yeah, it is. It's a terrible misfortune. And if the roll fails, you are wounded. So we would also gain 3 fatigue points. So we're gonna have to see what event is going to be coming with this, and that's going to be a despair. I believe you roll on the despair table. Oh no, sorry, this is going to be a terrible misfortune. That's right. So we're going to roll a success die. And that is a 4. It's a hidden hazard. We need to use awareness to avoid stumbling into danger. So if we fail this, we're going to stumble and be wounded, and take 3 fatigue points. So this is going to be a very important awareness roll for us here. And our awareness is 2. And oh, we got the Gandalf rune, so we are not going to fail that. And that's excellent. I wonder if that will even make some possible benefit for us. I'm not sure about that, but we do not take any wound, and I think we still just take the 3 fatigue points. So we need to mark that on our journey sheet here. We're going to add 3 fatigue points. And actually, this is a new journey, so we'll start over from 0. Even though Fimberthrill does have 1 fatigue point still on her. And our destination now, well, it's going to be, our destination is going to be Rudar, somewhere in Rudar. And I think our days of travel should be about 5 days, or no, sorry, 4 days, because we went 4 hexes to the east. And event number 2 was a, what was it? We fell into a hidden hazard, and the result was a success. So we've had pretty good success with our journeying, even though we did get the Eye of Sauron there. All right, so let's continue on. We're going to make another marching test after almost falling into a hazard there. So we'll roll travel again, and that looks like it's also going to be below. Yeah, we only got 12, so this is going to be another failure here, and we're only going to go 1 square or 1 hex, and we're going to roll for another travel journey event here. So let's roll the d12, and we got a 2, which is an ill choice. And if the roll fails, we're going to gain 1 shadow point, and we also would gain 2 fatigue. So let's go ahead and mark the 2 fatigue, because we're going to gain that either way. And we need to roll on the ill choices table. Let's see what we have here. We're going to roll a success die, and that is a 4 once again. This is Lost Quarry. We need to challenge hunting to follow the tracks of the Lost Quarry. Okay, so Fimberthrill doing a little bit of hunting with her bow, and unfortunately the quarry got away from us. So let's challenge hunting, which it looks like we have no skill in that. So I think we're just going to get 1 feat die, and I don't think we can even beat the target number. But if we can get a Gandalf rune, and no, we did not. Okay. So we're going to fail on that. And what is that going to mean for us? I think it means that we're going to take a shadow point. Yeah, we're going to take 1 shadow point here. All right, so we've got our 1 shadow point recorded there. We can continue on with our journey. A little bit of bad luck on this journey so far, so we need to make another marching test, and maybe we can do a little better this time. Looks like no. Very, very low roll here. So we've got 5, 6, 7. And what is that going to be? Probably the ill choice again. No, that's going to be a mishap. Okay. So if this roll fails, we're going to add 1 day to the journey. and gain an additional fatigue. So that would be a total of 3 fatigue. So we'll see how that goes. Mishap. All right, we'll roll D6 on there. That is a 1, which is sparse wildlife. Hunting again. Hunting, the skill that we have nothing. So we're paying for the fact that we are not good at hunting. So yeah, I don't think there's any way we can succeed here other than a Gandalf rune, and we did not get that, so we fail again. So we're going to take 3 fatigue, and we're going to add 1 day to the journey. So we're basically just going to stay here in this hex. We do not get to move. We don't get to move forward. And maybe if we do have a successful marching test, we'll also subtract 1 day from that. So let's add 3 fatigue. And actually, I'm just remembering that as the Elven Lord, we would only take half fatigue for all these things. So half of 8 is going to be 4. So we'll go ahead and reduce this down to 4. So that is one benefit of being an Elven Lord that is terrible at hunting, is that at least we take half fatigue. Half fatigue loss. All right, so let's test traveling again. Hopefully we can do a little bit better. And this time we got 11, 12, 13. And that is going to be a successful one. So that would mean that we would get to go 3 hexes away, but we're going to subtract 1 from that. So we're only going to be able to go 2 hexes. And actually our destination is 2 hexes. So that's no problem. And actually that would have been a favored roll too, because we are in the wildland here. So we actually beat that test without even having to use our favored roll. So that's great. So we've now arrived at our destination there, and we're not going to be journeying anymore for the moment. And let's consult the adventure here. And where have we arrived to? We've arrived at the lair of the she-wolf. As the journey approaches its conclusion, let's see here. You heard your hunt has taken you deep into the forgotten realm of Rudar. As you advance toward the misty mountains, the peak of Mount Graham looms ever closer, its malevolent presence sending a chill down your spine. Eventually, the goblin tracks deviate from their eastward path, winding down a dark and narrow valley. Upon reaching its end, you find yourself confronted by a dreary, rocky mound that resembles a heap of gigantic stones, carelessly piled as if by a bored giant. At its summit, you catch glimpses of ancient walls of stones and the ruins of towers with an evil look, as if they had been built by wicked people. At the base of the mound lies a gaping cave entrance, its interior shrouded in impenetrable darkness. Gather your courage, for it appears that you are about to put your mettle to the test. All right, so we are here in the foothills of this mountainous region, and we see an opening to a cave, a very dark and ominous cave, scattered with old bones and human and animal remains. It looks like there are sacrifices, possibly. And the bones have been broken by enormous, powerful jaws. They were shattered by a formidable beast. And the entrance leads into a vast cavern where there are several dark passages extending deep underground. All right, and this cavern has many paths. So when we come back next time, we are going to delve into this vast cave network and confront whatever hidden darkness lies within. So thank you once again for joining me, and I'll see you next time.